Welcome to organized chaos, but in a calm, very calm, strategic way. Yeah, so I mean, outside of the weather, the uncontrollables, right? The weather you can't change. We're fighting a few other things you can't change. So
keep going. Almost there.
outside of the weather, the uncontrollables, right? The weather you can't change. We're fighting a few other things you can't change. It is funny because like we're joking that like fall's coming. It is the official sign of pre-fall prep. I dragged up the first spreader.
Okay.
And we started dropping paddles.
Yeah.
And luckily, I don't quite have to think about that yet, but
okay.
it was August 13th and I'm like, okay, yes,
yeah.
First one, number one up.
Because your tension is always, there's farming that has to get done, but you're also preparing for spreading that happens as soon as the crops get off the field, and all the farmers want everything spread ASAP.
But then we have another challenge too. And the other challenge is why we're gearing up for fall. The challenge right now is also, we got a few other miscellaneous things that we gotta like take care of. And one of them is not a piece of equipment we use often, and then the other is a piece of equipment that we use every day. And we had the funniest thing happen. So we don't have a lot of equipment on tracks. We got a dozer, we got an excavator, we got a skid loader, and you know, somewhere down the line we might have some tractors on tracks, but as of right now, we just got those three. But how is it you have track problems with 2 out of the 3? Yeah. We've never thrown a track, and then this summer we thrown 2 tracks.
Wow. And what does that mean to throw a track?
It means it comes off the idler wheels, and it means the actual track itself comes off the idler wheels and the drive sprockets. The one we knew was an issue, the one on the excavator, we knew we were having an issue with that. We had tried greasing them, trying pushing the pistons out. So how do you actually tighten up a track? You take a grease gun, of all things, you put it on a grease zerk, but then there's this big cylinder, this big piston that pushes it out, and that's how you adjust your tension. Well,
okay, so it tightens it
yep.
so that the track isn't loose when it's spinning around.
How much slack do we want, do you know?
Oh. Not that much yet.
Yeah.
We knew for about 2 years the tracks on the excavator were getting really loose, and we knew
okay.
we were at this point we either had to pull out, so like usually what you'll do is you'll split the tracks and either pull out a full pad or a half pad.
Oh, okay, when they're getting too
yep.
loose and the tensioner is not doing what it
yep.
needs to do. Okay.
But being good farmers, we're like, hey, let's just keep an eye on it. Let's see how far we can push it. Well, once you know, we were back on the field, just cleaning some brush out of a ditch. And then Dean was on his way back and he threw a track. And then I was gone, but him, Dad, and Adam all spent the remainder of that day trying to get it back on so they get it back in the yard. Now, luckily they were able to do that, but then we get it up here and we start finding out like, oh, we got other problems because we could see where the piston was all the way out, but then the piston was up at an angle and we didn't have great visibility, but we knew we had to get the tracks apart first. Now, these are steel tracks and we've never, let's just say we learned a lot.
You've never done this process
No,
before,
no, and I had talked to a mechanic ahead of time, and I kind of had an idea, and then Dean, my really good friend here, was helping me, and I kind of thought he knew what he was talking about.
Dean, I mean, that's what he did for a job. He was a hole operator.
He was an
right?
excavator operator.
And did he have this happen, like through tracks? In the
Yeah,
past? Okay.
yeah.
But then he would just have the mechanics or whoever.
That's what I was
it,
gonna
right?
say. He is an excavator operator, not a mechanic. Not that this is hard, but it's just kind of like you don't want to screw it up.
Yeah.
Talk to a couple people because, like, I hate to admit it, but I've screwed my fair share of stuff up.
Okay. Okay. So that's in the back of your brain now.
Oh, absolutely. All right, well, if you notice here, we have this excavator, and it's in repair row. We got a couple tractors there. Actually, there's only 2 that really need to hit the shop before fall. But we have the excavator here, and now what we've had is, if you see the slack in the tracks, we don't know what we got going on. We don't know if we have a blown ram seal and it just won't push the tracks tight anymore. But long story short, we got to figure out how to tighten the tracks up. And we tried pumping grease and it won't go out anymore. And so we kind of wonder if we don't have either blown seal or possibly a broken piston. So basically it's just not going to be super easy. But today what we're going to try and do is cut the tracks apart, cut the kingpin, see if we can't get that out so we can get the tracks apart so we can see on our idler wheel what we actually have going on. I really don't know if that's the proper verbiage for excavator tracks, but when you're a farmer and the excavator is just like, you know, seasonal, yeah, whatever. We'll go with that. Reading online and different stuff like that, man, it's funny because every brand seems to call things a little bit different names, but for the most part, we have this pin here that connects the track and we can't get it out. And so we're gonna do some relief cuts and see if we can't get the pressure off it and drive the pin out so we can split the track. So then we can look at this idler wheel and see if we got a broken piston, broken seal pack, or what we actually have going on. But basically this is not going forward enough to tighten up the tracks. And so we lost a track the other day and well, now we're gonna fix it.
Give her a jerk that way. We're past the bushes. Come forward. Come back up. I don't want to eat the chain. You won't eat the chain. It's 380.
We started about a month ago trying to get it apart, then we couldn't, then Dean got busy with some stuff. I'm always busy with different stuff, but we knew we were gonna want this for fall, so we're like, hey, earlier this week I called Dean, I'm like, hey, if you got this day off, just drive in the yard, we'll go after that. Okay. And so that's what we did, and this time we knew when you first drive the pin in from the factory, it's all tapered, and so it's extremely tight. And what both mechanics told me is, hey, just start cutting it out. That's what we did, but then it took a little more than expected to actually cut it out. But what we think we had going on is where the 2 pins ride back and forth, we think we had enough wear in there where we could get the pin to drive about 1/4 inch each direction, but then what we think was happening is it was trying to bind up on just another wear point on the pin. Okay. And so you just couldn't get it to go all the way out either direction. So, you know, we grab the torch, we just keep cutting, keep cutting, keep cutting. Eventually, we finally get the pin and Dean starts pulling on with the skid loader because we were trying to put pressure back on it and push the tracks back together this way, thinking we could drive it back and forth. We couldn't.
Take the tension
yep.
out of it.
Eventually, what we ended up doing is cutting the pin even farther, and then finally we're able to get the one side off. Wow. We get it apart, but then we find out that our idler wheel actually had all the bearings out of it. Careful.
That bearing shot. Gone. Good.
And so what we thought was our problem wasn't. That was actually still pretty decent. But then this idler wheel is actually why there was no...
so you weren't getting the tension from that
Yep.
that you thought you were?
Yep.
Okay.
So, cool thing. We got it apart.
And did it did you need to get the track off to be able to...
Yeah.
Even though you didn't need the track off to tighten it, that allowed you to see what was actually going on with the tensioner?
Yep, because then we were able to pull the piston out, the spring out, and I don't know, if you ever are doing something you've never done before, just you're in a safe space, because it's one of those things, like you get the overall principle, but then like the hard thing here is there's so many different brands, every brand does it a little different, and then you don't want to screw it up, but you know. So luckily we got it all apart. I was able to talk to a guy that can deal with some aftermarket stuff. We think we got the parts list going in the right direction. So we're hoping in the next week or two we can get everything here. It looks like that idler wheel and then actually the yoke that holds it was all worn out. Looks like we can buy that whole complete assembly through aftermarket, which is hopefully saving a bunch of money. So for the most part, just nice knowing we got going in the right direction. And then it was funny because I had to explain to Dean that, you gotta admit, there's a little bit of a grind here. He's like, wow, we should have had that apart in half the time. So we had about 4 hours in it, maybe 3. And I'm like, yeah, but the next one, now that I know how to cut.
Isn't that just how it goes?
It is.
It's just you gotta put in your time and your tuition and just
And that's what
learn it.
that's absolutely what we were just joking about. Like, hey, some things you learn the hard way and you pay for your education one way or another.
Yeah.
But now that we know how to do it, the next one will take half the time because now I know how far to cut, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
kind of neat. The funny thing though is the other project that caught us off guard is, and it's sad because it actually involved Dean, but we were just trying to mow some ditches and things like that. So Dean was running the track skid loader and we're always fairly decent at keeping, so the rubber tracks, you got to adjust way more.
Oh, okay, so that they don't come off?
Yeah.
Keep them tight?
Yep. So Dean literally drives out the yard, starts mowing a ditch, and then he calls me. He's like, hey, I think I threw a track. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah.
You're joking, it's not funny.
Well, when I got down to where he was at, it kind of made some sense. You know, and it's one of those things, it was kind of the perfect scenario where we were in a ravine, and he was trying to turn, and so you can just tell you had the max flex on the track, to go up and around a telephone pole. And so we start simply by just trying to get it back on. There's a trick where usually you can get it to walk back on with a bar. Now try and go uphill. Nope. We're close. We couldn't do it. We actually bent my bar. It was really funny. Then try walking it forward. So then we're trying a few other things. Dad comes down with the other skid loader because we're just sitting on the side of the road. Luckily it's a gravel road, but we're sitting on the side of the road just trying to get this back on. All right, so that's not going the way we want it. We decide, hey, let's pull the grease circ out, and then actually there's like a little check valve in there. Let's pull that out. We see grease coming out. We see the track collapse a little bit. So now, we're on the excavator where we couldn't get the tracks to spread apart to keep tension, we actually got to go the other way now. We need to release the tension and push it back in so we can get the track back on. So we see the grease coming out and everything we think's going good, but we still just can't walk this track back on. And there's a lot of choice words back and forth. This is all over the course of about a half hour. Dean gets out, starts looking at it, and he's like, and he said the same thing I said. I'm like, we got grease, but you think we'd have a lot more grease than that. So we keep messing with it and we keep backing the screw out just a little more, and all of a sudden, boom, we have just this mound of, this tidal wave of grease coming out. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, so apparently on a Cat 299 skid loader, you gotta back that out completely to get all the grease out, to get it to collapse. Because then once we were able to do that, then we were actually able to get it to push back, get the track back on. It was super easy. Dad actually came down with the 950, one of the big loaders, lifted it up so we got the track on. Then we were doing a little more research on how to actually check the tension correctly. And apparently you're supposed to hold the spring from the front idler wheel back to the drive sprocket and then calculate your sag with a 100-pound weight in it. Oh, that's hilarious. The grease gun's empty. Oh, we got more grease. Now, that's really efficient, right?
Yeah, that's great.
I've always just like jacked it up and then this, usually went off the slack on the bottom. All right, well, we didn't have a 100-pound weight, but we had a 130-pound Trevor. You never get to choose where you throw a track. You never get to choose. Today, it's on the side of the road. Oh, well. So we have Trevor standing on the track and then we're tightening it up and I'm like, good enough. And oh man, so
that's funny.
Sometimes it's what you do when you're on the side of the road. So we got the track back on, Dean starts mowing again, we end it really well. And it was interesting because we had never seen that aspect where, because usually what they'll do is they'll look at the slack at the bottom of the track. You usually want like a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. But we had never seen it where you wanted an actual counterweight on top and then that weight's a slack on the bottom. So we're hoping they're tighter now than they've ever been. But we're hoping, hopefully we never have to fight that again. And then if we do,
but again, now you know how.
Now you know how, right? Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, the joys of being self-employed sometimes, right? Like, it's just like, okay. Well, that and then all the weird stuff still happens here.
Yeah.
On one hand, you could be mad. On the other hand, it's like, well, we were able to get both next to the shop and get them fixed right and keep going.
Yeah.
But
well, and I admire that about you because while you know it is actually one thing after another, right? Like there's always something coming up that you weren't expecting. Like you really do take it in stride and
yeah.
you're like, all right, it's what we got to do. It's where my attention has to go today. It is what it is, right?
So last week we joked about mom and dad being gone, and it's been kind of nice. The only thing I felt really bad, another unexpected surprise, mom and dad went and got a camper, and then they had a water faucet leak inside the camper.
So they bought a camper. It was only, I think it's like a year old.
Yeah.
So it had only been used like a very little bit, but did it not get winterized, or what are we thinking?
That or just life.
Okay.
It's
some broken water valves or fittings. Or
yeah,
whatever.
there was just a stress crack in the fitting, and there's a O-ring behind it, and then you could see exactly. So I don't know if it was just the weight coming down. The fittings that we replaced it with were way beefier, but it's kind of funny. We're trying to get mom and dad off on their vacation. Adam's putting 4 brakes. Hey, have I told you thank you yet tonight? Thank you. Oh my gosh, if there's ever a time frame where you just gotta say thank you 100 times, Adam puts 4 sets of brakes in dad's truck the night before he leaves.
It was a team effort around
here, it
right?
absolutely was. I'm running to our local Menards to get fittings and get an extension cord because I wanted to.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No, we had to get an extension cord so we get the air conditioner running. I wanted to test that because you know as well as I do, like it wouldn't have ended well if they went to had air conditioning.
No, it's been so humid around here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then mom had everything by the door. I'm like, I will pack it. You get yourself ready, and we're just like, tick tick, time to go now. So, but it was good. We got them on the road, and they had a really good time.
Yeah, but isn't it funny they get on the road and I got like 2 or 3 phone calls from mom. The best one was 9:30 at night. I just sat down and I look over and here's mom. And I'll tell you a little secret. So, mom is the only person that can call me where like no matter what I'm doing, I always try to pick it up because I'm always scared at late 60s that she's stuck on the side of the road, right?
Something, yeah.
So I look over and I'm like, 9:30 at night, mom's calling me.
Yeah.
They're usually in bed. This isn't gonna be good. Hello? How do you turn the air conditioning on?
Yep. I might have got a few too. It's good. It's what we do. So.
We're very supportive family, aren't we?
We are very supportive. I think we're great children.
Some days mom and dad don't think so.
It's okay. It's fine.
We all gotta give a little bit.
Yep.
Oh, do you have any like cliche sayings? Like, it takes a village.
Oh.
It might take a village, but we're pretty independent.
Yeah. Well, we each pulled away to 12 villagers, and
love is a challenge, isn't it?
I also like fully decluttered mom's kitchen while they were gone, and Eric walks in and he's like, "This is awesome." I'm like, I know, but I don't think mom's gonna like it. And I'm like, it's hard living with the minimal mom. Like, it's hard. I don't know. It's,
yeah.
You've lived with multiple generations, like you know, it's a dance, right? You're just trying not to step on people's toes, but everyone has their own needs and wants and balancing all that. So we actually all get along very well, and I'm very grateful for that.
It's no different than having a dog right now.
Just always something.
You find the idiosyncrasies with everyone, and you learn it. But oh my gosh, this is funny, yeah, because this is exactly how we see 40 and 42 going, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
This is exactly how we imagine.
Yep.
1000%.
Feels like extended middle school. You know. What are you doing today? I don't know yet. The phone hasn't rang. I haven't looked at my phone.
Yeah, right?
Well, can you help me with this? Yep.
That's good. We're there.